Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and today I'm going to be talking about something that is coming to PvP in presumably the fall update. That is what the devs have said they wanted to do with this, and it really has the potential to make the meta so much better to a degree that has not been seen in years. And I am really happy that the devs have finally looked into this and, say, we're going to do this to address this major issue that's been happening. And what I am talking about is the healing cap that the devs are going to add in the fall. And they recently have been talking a little bit more openly about their ideas for it and what they sort of have planned and what they're going to do with it. And right now we already have a number actually for what the heal cap is going to be, and they already said that they want to make the healing cap 100% of your wizard's max HP. So for me right now, that would be 15,186 HP. That's how much I could heal for in a single game of PvP. And I think that's sort of, I think it's either excessive or it's just right depending on how they implement it. And this is where I'm sort of a little on edge, because it's like I said, this change has the potential to be the best change made to PvP in years. But it's all in how they implement it, and right now it's not looking all that great. But even still, if they do implement it in the way that I don't want them to, there are still things that the devs can do that will make it not so bad. And so, the devs already has said that this 15k HP, or not this 15k HP cap, but this 100% heal cap of your wizard's health. Most life wizards are going to have that be 15k, but it's going to apply to incoming healing rather than outgoing. And this is, don't get me wrong, it is still good that a heal cap is being implemented at all, and this, I think, will finally put jading to rest. I think they've finally done it, no matter how this ends up going. But the big thing is, jading is not really, that big of a concern for me once the cap is implemented. My concern is life wizards who pack about 30-ish cards in their deck that have a heal attached, and I don't even think I have all of the cards that I'm thinking about, because this is 5 goat monks. Most life wizards are going to pack 6. I haven't updated this deck in over a month, by the way, because I still need to do weaving, and I don't have membership, and that's a cruel cycle. So 6 goat monks in a usual life wizards deck, obviously 4 rebirths, 4 Toirettes, especially now that the pip cost on Toiret has been reduced. Typically, we will also see about 4 Path B Legend Golems. I just don't have the spell limits for that yet, but you can see what it does here. It's like a little hit, not a significant amount of damage, but it'll do some, and it'll put a 390 single heal on you. And then, what else is there? There's Oni's Forge, which most lives are packing 4 of these days, just as a counter in main deck. So that's 4 Legend Golems, 4 Oni's Forges, 6 Goat Monks. That's 14, 18, 22, and then of course there's things like Hunting Worm. Although you'll see a lot of life wizards be packing things like Sprite Swarm instead of Hunting Worm, so the count still goes up to 26 with that. And then Seraph is also another issue that people have found. And then there's usually not that many regenerates, maybe 2 or 3 tops. So that's about 29, and then 31 or 30, 31 with the 2 Wings of Faith that you usually see people packing. And basically, the issue that I've got here is the fact that there are so many of these mini heals that a life wizard doesn't really need to threaten a giga heal in a match. All they have to do is just keep sending goat monks, and these will add up over time. Keep sending legend golems, because the 390 heals on these will add up over time. and then, you know, use a Toilet to counter if you need to. That's about the closest that a Life Wizard will get to a Giga Heal in most situations. And then, of course, Wings of Fate also is going to heal for quite a bit. If you look here, 1,020 across, you know, all 5 tiers, or all 4 tiers that are usable in PvP. So, all in all, the issue becomes Life Wizards can hit this 15k healing cap without using Rebirth or Toilet or like any. Really, it's just those two that a Life Wizard doesn't have to use. But the point I'm making is, for it to be an incoming healing cap, that means that counters such as Skeletal Pirate and Threefold Fever, which I don't have trained, I don't know how that happened, I really need that card, but cards like Skeletal Pirate and Threefold Fever that are meant to clear heals and mitigate heals with a 65% infection on Threefolds are not going to matter nearly as much, because, you know, if you use, say, an Oni's Forge, which heals for 570 on a max conditional, clearing 3 shields, then, you know, through a threefold, that's going to be, hold on, 35% of 570 is about 200. So, and that is not taking into account outgoing healing. So, hold on a minute. 200 times 1.84. 84 is usually the outgoing stat that people have. So that's 368 HP on every Oni's Forge through a threefold. So that adds up over time, because, you know, you see things like Goat Monk. This heals for the exact same, and, you know, you're getting 368 HP if you use this through Goat Monk. And then people will also use Legend Golems. These will add up. And then, of course, Seraph is going to be like a big source of damage. Basically, the point I'm making is that this cap should apply to outgoing healing rather than incoming. Because that way, if somebody sends, like, let's say, 2 Goat Monks back to back, then, you know, that's about, or no, a better example is a Wings of Fate. So 1,020 HP across 2 heals, and then their opponent counters it with a Skeletal Pirate. 1,020, just to do this math real quick, 1,020 times 1.84, that is usually the meta set. That's about 1,877 HP from Wings of Fate. So if the cap ends up being, you know, 15,000 health, 100% of the person's health, then this alone, without any extra buffs behind it, not a Luminous Weaver's Guiding Light, not a Sanctuary, that sort of deal, it's like just this alone, the 1,020 from like a tier 2 Wings of Fate is going to get you about, like, it's going to get you a little over 10% of the way to the healing cap. And so, you know, you keep adding up things like Goat Monk, it's like maybe this will get you, I don't know, like 5%, 5 to 6%. Same with Oni's Forge. Legend Golem might get you maybe 3 to 4%. Basically, all of it is going to add up, and it's like that's when it's a problem, because it's like the heal cap will be redundant if Life Wizards don't even have to threaten these big heals anymore. It's like, I think that packing counters should add an extra sort of risk that the Life Wizard has to think about. Because if somebody uses like a max tiered Rebirth, and mine is nowhere near that, by the way, just so we're clear, but 2,205 on a Rebirth with a 20% Guiding Light on them from a Luminous Weaver. Let's see here, 2,205 times 1.84 times 1.2 for the Guiding Light times 1.35 for the Sanctuary. That is 6,573 HP from one Rebirth with just a Luminous Weaver Guiding Light and with a Sanctuary out. These two cards being in play at the same time is very plausible. It happens all the time. So 6,500 is how much of... Alright, 6573 is how much of 15186? Okay, awesome. I don't care about your Brave AI. Percentage calculator. Let me find that real quick. So 6573-15186. Calculate. That is 43.3-ish% of the heal cap reached with a single card. And if it gets countered the first round by somebody using an Anubis, for example, which will clear 3 heals, then with their current proposition for it to be incoming healing, this will not, like, apply at all. It's like, what? Okay, anyway. I didn't even know that was a thing that was going on, but basically what I'm getting at is using a counter, and why the hell is the music all the way up? Come on, Sen. We can do better than that. But, you know, if somebody is healing for an immense amount and it gets countered by somebody using an Anubis, all the life has to do is click brace one time, and there's the acceleration gone. It's like they might have taken maybe 1,000 damage to a death using Anubis, but it is so easy for them to click brace and then click another rebirth. Assuming, of course, the Sanctuary is still up. They would have gotten rid of their Lumi weakness, so or their Lumi Guiding Light, of course, so that is 2205 times 1.84 times 1.35. So without the Luminous Weaver Guiding Light, that is 5,477. 5,477 is about 36% of the heal cap, all in one singular spell, with, of course, the Sanctuary up. So, effectively, this is mainly why this healing cap should apply to outgoing rather than incoming, because the counters in their current state are just not as good as they need to be. And this is another point that I will say, that even if the devs fumble this incoming outgoing change on the heal cap, they can actually still dissuade people from healing by improving the heal counter library. So because at the moment, like I said, if your first rebirth gets Anubis and, you know, you take maybe 1,000 damage and then click brace and all is well, and then go back and click rebirth again, you're getting about 5,500 HP from it. So it's like the death just sort of dumped pips on their Anubis for nothing, and your healing, it's like that might have also been their only heal counter in hand. So with that in mind, let's now talk about how the devs can recover if they continue and make this heal cap come to life as incoming rather than outgoing. At the moment, there is only one singular card that functions as a hit and contagion. And to briefly explain what contagion is, let me get onto the Death Wizard. I don't even know if I actually have Dr. Von unlocked yet, but Dr. Von's monster serves as a hit and contagion. Let me just briefly look at what's going on with it. Do I have it upgraded? Yes, I do. Okay, so basically, a Dr. Von will do a little bit of damage, obviously not this much because it's a drain, so it loses some value, but it will clear up to 4 heals for minus 70% infections. This is the only card of its kind. This is the only card that hits, deals a good amount of damage, you know, maybe, given it's a drain, and the drain nerf was a thing that happened, but it'll hit, it'll clear heals, rather, and put down infections. It is the only card of its kind, and I think that that's a problem, because for a meta to be healthy, what we need is, especially if they fumble the heal cap, what needs to happen is a new card needs to get added, maybe 5 or 6 pips, and what it would do is it would function as a Dr. Von, but cheaper. It wouldn't do nearly as much damage, or, you know, maybe it would, if it doesn't end up being a drain, of course, but it would do less damage, but have the same effect. It would clear maybe 2 heals over time, and it would put on infections for it. Preferably 2 infections for it. It would be, like I said, a hit and contagion. So Contagion, again, clear a heal over time for 2 minus 65% infects. I think this is a good card for clearing all of these single heals that you see these Life Wizards using. It's like I went over a bunch of them, you know, Goat Monk, Legend Golem, Oni's Forge, you know, Sprite Swarm as well, among others. And I think that a cheaper heal counter that also dissuaded people from healing again, or at least put an obstacle in the Life Wizard's path, would be the way to go. And this is a card that needs to exist anyway, but I'm just saying, you know, if the cap ends up being for incoming and not outgoing, this is the devs' best way to sort of have that in the game in a healthy way. Because otherwise, of course, it would be a redundant change. It would stop jading. Let's be real. It would stop jading no matter how you cut it. But in the overall just life matchup, the counters need to be better. And I think that is something that they will spring for, because at the moment, heals are very overtuned. They are very highly valued. And I do think that putting in a new counter, a new heal counter that hit, you know, did its damage, and then cleared 2 heal overtimes for, you know, for, let's say, 65% infects. Why not? It can lose some damage if that's what needs to happen, and I think that's fine. That would, 1, clear a heal, or clear 2 heals rather, and it would put on infections so that way a life couldn't just heal again. And that, I think, is a big hole in the library right now. It's just there's all these cards that probably function well enough as like heal counters, but they don't stop the Life Wizard from just healing again. And that is sort of where we're at. I mean, you see a lot of people who play life, it's like they're not even jading necessarily, but they are healing a lot because the counters don't keep up. And it's the same thing with Dots and Fires of Mars right now. The counters just can't keep up, and there's like no acceleration like there used to be. When Triton gave 60% chromatic blades, that was a good time, because, you know, heals and healing in general, it's like if you saw somebody had Storm Pips and you got Tritoned after you healed, it's like you had to figure out a way to deal with that quick. And I think that that was a healthy time for the game, because Triton was a costly heal counter, but it got the job done, and it created pressure immediately out of a heal, because you could punish heals and then, you know, keep the pressure up. That's what I think matters the most. But of course, now that it's not chromatic anymore, I think that the best way, like I said, to do this and at least keep healing better in check is to make a new death spell that, again, hits, clears 2 heals, and puts on infections for 5 pips. That's the way they need to go if this heal cap comes to life in the way that the devs are talking about it up to now. Because I really, really do think that this heal cap has a lot of potential. It absolutely is a good change no matter how you cut it. It's just how good is it going to be? Is it going to be, you know, like the thing that finally snuffs out Jades, which I guess it will be either way, or is it going to be the thing that makes life finally not the most obnoxious school to fight? And that, I think, is just sort of where we're at. We're at this crossroads where the devs need to decide if they want to like just only go after Jades, or if they want to go after a playstyle that is frustrating to many. And I think the latter is what needs to happen, because a lot of these lives, they just play real turtley and sit there and, you know, like, they'll get most of their damage, by the way, with cards like Centaur, Goat Monk, and of course the now infamous Seraph, which does more than double the damage, by the way, if you are gambiting a heal. This adds 355 for gambiting a heal, and this honestly is why just like sending one of these through an infection is so worth, because, you know, it's like if you have 6 pips you got your brace up, you know, but you got a threefold on you that you want to get rid of, so that way maybe one of these can heal for more, or maybe you want to set up one of these. All you have to do is just send one of these, of course, the B path for, you know, 390 HP through the threefold, and then Seraph immediately out of it, and you get like 2,000 damage or something nuts, which is like kind of wild. So yeah, I mean, it is a very strong card right now, and it encourages people to just heal through threefolds. So I don't know. I think that's where I should probably hang this one up. It's, like I said, this change, no matter how you cut it, is going to be good. It's just how good is it going to be? And that is what I hope the devs look into and make it an amazing change rather than just a good one. So that is going to wrap up. Thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more, and I will see y'all later.